There was a study done in about 2008 or 9, I think it was, and they asked evangelical Christians, do you think a president can be a good president if they've conducted themselves immorally in their personal lives? And only 31% of evangelicals back then thought a president could be immoral and be a good president. But then in 2016, they asked those same questions of evangelicals. And knowing that President Trump had some moral scandal surrounding him, it was a different type of question. And so they asked the same question, and now it jumped from 31% to 81%, I think it was, that said a president can be a good president and be immoral in their personal lives. So this jump from sort of having a suspicious or critical approach towards the government when a Democrat was in power to this massive, unquestioning support when Trump was in the presidency suggested what is, I think, this perennial problem in Christianity, which is that much of what we think is our faith guiding our life is nothing more than a byproduct of political forces that came before us. Eric Peterson, who was speaking in the midst of Nazi Germany, he referred to this as people making a prior political decision for a certain political order, and that their religion always just seems to come afterwards to dress up that prior political decision. I think the massive challenge in all of Christianity is to find if there is ever a way in which faith can come before your politics and actually shape it. Is there a way in which you are ever shaped by the word or the challenge of the gospel, ever challenged by a faith that may affect what your politics is, may change it, and in fact, change the way you live in the world instead of just already making a prior political decision for some regime and then dressing it up with your religion later. Because I think what we have fallen into in the United States, especially among its evangelicals, is so well put in the words of Jerry Falwell Jr., who, when asked about his immense support for Trump, and in light of this, like 81% of evangelicals that say, hey, you can be a great president and still be immoral, they asked him and they said, so what is your rationality behind your unflagging support for this president that many admit is immoral? He put his cards on the table, so to speak, with the New York Times, and he said, my politics is not informed by Jesus's teachings. He said, I don't let Jesus's teachings inform my political views. To me, that is the most clear example of how Christianity has become corrupted by political forces, and how it's still a Constantinian way of thinking in Christianity, which thinks solely in terms of the political power dynamics in the world, and Jesus only gets sprinkled in later as a sort of dressing up or a justification to make ourselves feel better about ourselves.